All right, back in the saddle. It is office hours. It's 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Welcome everyone. And hey there, Andrew. How are things?
Hey, not too bad. How about yourself?
A little rusty in my throat. Been teaching a class since 9 a.m. this morning, and well, I'm not exactly quiet. So otherwise, all is good. All is good.
Good,
I
good.
think
We are more than halfway through the week, so
there is that. Yeah, I think some of the students are still waiting for the Intune scripts to run. It was been a eye-opening week for some of the students comparing ConfigMgr to Intune,
yeah.
where they are used to have stuff done like almost in an instant. And then you move over to Intune and do the same thing and realize, yeah, it is instant is not the word I would use. It will more like be maybe later.
Yep, I would have to agree. You have to have a little bit of patience, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I remember back in the days when this little friend was fresh.
Yeah.
30 years ago. But still, it was not quick either.
No, I mean
software for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, as you always, as you like to mention, Intune is a service that's shared with millions of devices, so that makes a little bit of sense as long as you can have a little patience with it. Now, when it works pretty darn well.
Yeah, it does. Now, I know that Microsoft is working hard to speed up things, getting it into the fast lane that they explained so well last year. But yeah. We are. So, anywho, what's new in this space?
Yeah, I came across a few things for today, a couple of new things and a couple of reminders that I happen to come across on social media. If you want to share my screen.
Yeah. Yes. There we go.
That looks like my screen.
Better be. I'll be nervous.
First thing I came across here was this post from Tron that a whole bunch of Google settings have been added into the settings catalog in Intune. So that's great. We always like to see more settings showing up there and tend to prefer that over some of the older type settings or even importing ADMXs here. And he does have a comment that if you are importing ADMXs, do make sure that you're doing that in the correct order, which kind of looks like this in his post. And the reason for that is if you don't do it in the correct order, the upload will simply fail. So great reminder here and a good call out on some of the new settings that are showing up. I came across this post as just a good reminder. It's something that we've talked about here in the past, but if you haven't seen before, in the M365 Admin Center, you actually have the ability to configure whether or not your users in your tenant are able to start self-service trials without talking with IT. Generally, I do feel comfortable speaking for Johan here, saying that this is not something that we generally allow and don't prefer if we want to run trials. Generally, we want our, especially on new software, we want our users to come through IT and their organizational structure. Now, the reason that I say all of that is that there are often new products showing up in this self-service trial section without any real notification, or maybe there is some notification, but it's hidden, amongst the 500 other notifications that you had to pay attention to over the last couple of months. So the point in this is a good reminder to make sure that you're checking those settings in your tenant. Because if this isn't something you want to allow, you want to make sure that you're regularly looking as new products pop up. You want to go ahead and shut those trials off. Now back to a little bit of new here. I have not finished reading this yet, but I was able to start a little bit ago. Ben Whitmore has written a deep dive, sort of a follow-up to a post that we've shared many times around Windows Update scan source and how that actually works. And the scan source basically is determining where your software update scans are pointing to, whether you're configuring it with Intune, ConfigMgr, group policy, or just the default Windows experience. So
And
even
of course, in usual bandwidth more fashion, it is just a couple pages long at least.
And that's primarily why I haven't finished reading it yet. But from what I've read so far, as usual, fantastic knowledge here from Ben. And I actually had not even realized this myself, but basically, since his previous post on this, there have been some defaults that have changed in the OS, where, to Ben's point, Microsoft's trying to be helpful and set some of the scan source themselves. So it's hard to get clarity when you are configuring these settings, which one wins, what the experience looks like, and Ben does a great job stepping through sort of getting to some level of predictability on this thing. But again, it is a deep dive, and to his credit, he did say that in the title. But does get to some results, it looks like, or at least to what he's found up to this point. So absolutely recommend reading this. This is something for anybody that's managing a Windows device, because again, this affects Intune clients, it affects ConfigMgr clients. Boy, does it affect co-managed clients, no doubt. So absolutely recommend reading this. Also came across this post from Peter Klapvik around configuring options that we have for configuring the time zone with Intune. So there are a couple. We can do that through in Intune policy, just setting the specific time zone. We can also have it automatically update with location, and we can configure it through PowerShell as well. So this blog post, short and sweet, but gives us some options on managing those time zones, and that's something that I've had to deal with in the past, and I suspect many others have as well. So thank you, Peter, for putting this together. And I also came across this post from Damien from last week. It's a little bit of a log analytics and a remediation in Intune. And basically this has your devices sending information up to log analytics to record disk space. So you can actually build out sort of how much disk space is used in this dashboard or this log analytics workbook with this solution here. Also recommend, I mean, we've shared probably 50 different posts from Damien over the last several years. If you are using log analytics and remediations to any extent in your environment, do recommend looking through some of his posts. He's got a lot of great solutions that help reporting on these sort of specific areas. You know, we share a lot of larger dashboards, but this one I really like is a specific need that's being met here. So recommend checking those out. And last but not least, something that's on my list to test out here soon, because I'm starting to see this and even use this more and more, is a new PowerShell module that helps reduce the barrier to entry for IT folks around elevating roles in privileged identity management in Entra. So if you normally just have a standard user account, but you have PIM configured in your environment to elevate to, say, a user administrator or groups administrator, you've probably been through the whole thing where you have to open it up in your browser, you've got to provide a justification, you've got to wait a couple of minutes before it gets elevated, and a lot of those pauses are still in there. But if you're in PowerShell day in and day out, I think there's definitely some value there to having that all automated just through your PowerShell console. So something I came across that I'm going to be testing out here. So I wanted to share it with all of you. And that was what I had for this week.
All right, then. I have a couple of things. First, a shout out here to Dave, who's apparently still waiting for that PowerShell script to run. So, all right, we're hoping for the best there. Again, it was several lines of code that had to be downloaded and run. So that would work. A couple of folks here in the chat I just noticed asking for links. We obviously will share these links in the description under the YouTube video, and that was a good reminder for me actually. Amir was asking here earlier, so we did a recap last week, and those videos are coming up as well because YouTube decided to process that video for about 7 days. I mean, it was a full hour of content, but usually it's done in like 20 minutes. And we've been in contact with them, asking them to reprocess it, and eventually they just, no, we can't really do this. So early this morning, we just uploaded the video as we had the original recording from Restream here to YouTube. So that one is now available. We only need to add the links to it, which we will. So give us a couple of hours there, and then you will find the link directly under that video. So for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, let me steal the screen. That was easier said than done. I need to share my screen first, and then I can steal the screen. There we go. So that's the community recap that we did. It is up on YouTube. It's also available on our community forum, of course. But I will post the links down here that we shared throughout that hour-long session. Then a little note or shout out to Matthew here in our community. First of all, I would like to say he's right. The community is a great site. I happen to be biased in the matter, but nonetheless, what Matthew posted about earlier in the community was the new drive automation tool, version 8, that we have showcased twice now, I think, before New Year's and after. Sometimes gets flagged for like software scanners or just regular, antivirus detection at download. Maurice was hoping that the changes he have done would mitigate that, but apparently it's still that flagged sometimes because the script, to no one's surprise, downloads stuff from the internet. Drivers in particular, but it does that. So he wrote, he sent me a message on Twitter earlier today that he would post the correct checksums up on the GitHub repository so that people can compare and see that what they've downloaded is really untampered with, which I'm assuming what they are afraid of. So thank you for flagging that, and we'll let you know when that information is available.
On that note, too, I did see that he added the MSI installer within a couple of days. Yeah. So that's good news.
That is really nice, indeed. Then a shameless plug, but I think Richard will never forgive me if I do not mention this, but his PKI course starts tomorrow. So for those of you that are active on our academy, don't miss this one. This is a first for us to have a full PKI course on the academy as a regular course. So looking forward to that one. Now, on a more interesting documentation that I stumbled across. It was Trond again that you mentioned earlier, Andrew. He shared a fantastic blog post that explains how to correctly set up Windows 11 kiosks with Intune, because the documentation around that has a little bit of the opportunity for growth to make that one. And then Trond also reminded me that version 1.8.7 of the content prep tool has a new switch. Double Q.
It's like the old very quiet and very, very quiet, right?
Yeah, very silent for Lenovo installers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't output anything if you throw that switch. Otherwise, you get the normal output from the command if you use quiet. So quiet does not mean quiet. It means automated. Double Q means quiet. So nice addition, I thought. See what else. No, I think that was pretty much it in terms of news from me. Do we have any questions? That is the question.
Yeah. Yep, I think you covered what we have so far. A couple of questions about the links, some hellos, and Matthew's comment as well. I'm not seeing any other questions at the moment.
All right then. Well, if you do have questions, we still have 40-some minutes available. So otherwise, we'll have to go back and talk about command line switches for the next 40 minutes. Yeah.
I do see our friend Jim O'Neill and Michael Leary joining us, and that does remind me, if you don't mind swapping back to my screen for a moment, Johan.
Yes, sir. I shall. Yeah, there we go.
There are many great conferences in the world, but I would say our favorite, MMS, coming up here in May, still has tickets available, and if you're available at that time, you're working in this space at all, you've all probably heard this from us before if you've joined us, but it absolutely cannot recommend this conference enough, and try to convince your boss to go, especially if you've never been. It just can't say enough about the content, the people that join, the speakers, the attendees, the information and the networking that you get out of this conference are just fantastic. So they were a good reminder that I wanted to call this out.
All right, awesome.
So let's see. Jim said MMS is the only conference for those who watch this live stream, and Mike's getting his ticket this week. Awesome.
Nice.
So let's see. We do have a question coming in here from Chris. Just want to read it real quick. Has anyone seen an issue where users get a message that their account password or PIN is incorrect when logging into systems after they lock or their systems go to sleep? We're hybrid AD and using Windows Hello for business. I've cleaned out the container, but randomly still happens on VPN or in office with the local DC. Incorrect messages do not hit the domain. No lockouts happen no matter how many times you try, and a reboot can't allow the system to log back in. That is interesting. I've not come across that, but primarily because most of my Windows Hello for Business work has been with cloud native PCs. And not sure if this problem is with the hybrid aspect or something else. Anything you've come across, Johan?
No, I have not. I'm sorry. I don't have any ideas on that one.
Yeah. Keep an eye out, though. Got another question here. Would ConfigMgr have anything that focuses on managing Kiosk PCs?
Not like built-in templates, but you can definitely have like configuration scripts running or stuff like that. But nothing that I've stumbled across.
No, same. Most of the work that I've seen there is group policy or Intune or if you happen to have Recast in your environment, I know they have a kiosk manager. I'm sure there are others. I just bring this one up because I've run across it a couple of times. And that's gotten good feedback from what I've seen. But I agree with Johan, nothing natively.
On other thoughts, that the requests for links have been addressed. They are now posted under the recap video. So if you look into the one that we uploaded from the live stream, this one here, you might remember those folks in the video. Below here we have the links that we were sharing throughout that one. So there we go. Good morning, everyone.
Do we have them on the actual recap video from the community as well? I think we might need to add them there.
We might need to add them there. I'll see what I can do.
Sounds good. You know a guy?
I know a guy.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Matthew's asking, do you know how to do a feature task sequence as an app model deployment type? Hold on. Do you know how to do feature task sequence as an app model deployment type install method is different? Oh, how is it different from the normal application packages?
Oh, they're quite different. Sequences that they're all their own little beast in terms of deploying them and starting them from the system. However, what you do need is a friend. So I'm going to steal the screen for a second.
Mm-hmm. I think you got it. You're good.
I'm good. Yeah. So Mr. Martin Bengtsson over at I'm at Denmark. He has been sharing for years and years these different toast notification that to launch a PowerShell script. But a little known feature is that inside of that script, he has code to launch sequences. So I've been using this for a couple of customers to instead of doing an upgrade, we use them to launch pretty much any sequence we want, because this launches a sequence. So through PowerShell, you can launch sequences. And can you deploy a PowerShell script as an application? Heck yes. So if you don't mind borrowing a little bit of code from Martin, you can definitely launch sequences as regular applications if you want to. Another option, of course, is just make them available, have them show up in the console, and the user clicks them.
Pretty clever.
Yeah, I mean, we've been using it a lot for testing. You just need to initiate something over and over again. Mm-hmm. Clicking around is fun the first 62 times, but then it starts to get, just a little bit boring. Recaching sequences, the same thing, works beautifully. So take a look at that script. He's been updating that like a million times over the years. So yeah.
Right. I see there was a comment here in the chat on if you're having an issue with that tiny script from the ConfigMgr class, reboot the machine and check again.
Yeah, when in doubt, reboot. When in doubt, reboot.
Oh, nice. Mike says they're using Martin's script for Office upgrades right now.
Yeah, there you go. Good stuff. For sure. I mean, it's nice. It's very elegant. I usually configure it as a scheduled task to nag users at regular intervals, but any way you start it doesn't really matter. If you really want to know your users, you launch it every 10 minutes until they finally do the upgrade. But don't expect that extra shiny whiskey for Christmas next year, because
Mm-mm.
I don't think you will get it.
Well, that's funny.
All right. Anything else? I can let you in on a secret, since it's only us friends here.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
I learned why Microsoft removed MDT so darn quickly.
How come?
Apparently, it was reported a security risk with the MDT monitoring service.
Oh, that's not great.
And instead of fixing it, they deleted it.
Okay.
So I had a chat with a security researcher last night. We'll have a follow-up call tomorrow. Hopefully to be able to shed some more light around it and what can be done to mitigate the issue. But that monitoring service is obviously, it's an optional thing, but a lot of people like it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just stop it for now and problem solved.
Okay.
But yeah, more info to follow. More info to follow.
Be looking forward to that.
Yeah. Lovely world of IT. I'm still blown away by one of the facts that we shared during the 2025 recap, that we had 48,000 CVEs published just last year, rounding it up to 130 a day on average every day.
It's so many.
This is getting stupid, I have to say.
Trying to find. Yes, I mean, it's not quite that level of numbers, but I did come across this post. You just triggered the thought that Patch Tuesday, 3 0 days and 114 flaws in a month that were fixed.
Yes. Sounds about average. For a January at least, because during holidays we tend to catch up on work that we've been wanting to do, and things testing, and apparently so does the bad people.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe we can track what this looks like month over month this year and see what's happening in the Windows side of things specifically.
Yeah, you just have to watch 12 of the Patch Tuesday support group videos on YouTube from Patch My PC there, and you can catch up.
Yeah, that should be pretty easy.
Yeah, have the full weekend. 12 hours of, or maybe they are an hour and a half long. At least an hour.
At least it's a fun group running them.
True. If anyone can make patching actually sound fun, it will be that group. Brian, them, Jordan, and others. It's a good crowd. All right. Any other questions, comments?
I don't see any questions or comments, but in that, for some context there, they are actually running this month's support group tomorrow.
Of course.
Oh, and I see Kevin just mentioned that in the chat too.
Yeah, that is exactly true. That is true. It's written here on the internet, so it must be true.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
No, thank you for the information. All right, we still have the 30 potential minutes for questions. If you have any, let us know. Otherwise, we will go out and shovel snow because we were gifted with this earlier today.
Some gift.
Yep.
I can't complain. We had a rough start to the winter, but all in all, it's been pretty mild. So even though I do complain, I try not to.
Yeah, but it's different being older. When I was 20, I can be out shoveling snow for 2 hours and don't skip a beat the next day. Now I'm like,
Might need to squeeze in an extra nap.
yeah, the back will hurt for 4 days.
Yep.
But there is one perk of getting older, though. It says you can buy toys
That's true.
that I could not possibly afford at that age. So we just bought us a beefy 2-stage snow thrower. So
Very nice.
look forward to try that one out.
Yes, they're very helpful.
Dave just commented that script finally ran after absolutely the reboot, as expected. When in doubt.
When in doubt.
Thanks
It's
for
funny.
sharing.
I had, I've got kids, and like many kids these days, they have Chromebooks, right? And earlier in the week, one of them was having an issue with their Chromebook, couldn't connect to wireless. And you know what my first question was, Johan? Did you reboot? And thankfully, my family said, yes, of course we did. And I said, okay, that's now I'll sit down and help you out.
Yeah.
I see Matthew's question here. The Patch Tuesday support group, is it free? Yes, it is. Go ahead and sign up. And Patch My PC does a ton of free stuff for the community. Blog posts, webinars, these support groups. I'm sure I'm missing something.
I talked to David just before Christmas, David James, and they said they have sponsored like close to 100 user groups. It was like a massive amount of that is nice.
Yeah, it is. I hear, is that Kylo back there giving you a hard time?
It is Kylo giving me a hard time.
He doesn't remember how cold it is outside, I guess.
Well, we have a saying in the house. We have to let them back in so we can let them back out again. Because that's usually what happens. They come in and like 4 minutes later they realize, oh, I want to go out again.
Of course, just to turn around and come right back in.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they are all right, as Richard said. I have to say, they're okay.
It's true.
All right, but I do not see any more questions coming in.
No, we're getting let off easy today.
Yeah. I guess Kyle may get his wish after all. To go out early. All right, let's run this up nicely then. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We are certainly grateful for having you here, to cheerful comments and questions and whatnot. And we hope to see you again back next Wednesday. I think it might be only you, Andrew, because I'll be traveling a little bit. So, well, until then.
I'll try to hold it down. Thank you, Johan. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.